This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 594 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Today's tip is brought to you by Nalox by Kentucky Performance Products. Greetings all, Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from Randi Thompson. Randi is internationally recognized for her award-winning How to Market Your Horse Business and Horse and Rider Awareness educational programs. Randi has been in the horse industry for 35 years and has been coaching professionals in horse and rider training and business marketing. Today's tip is about success and its not-so-secret secrets. But first, a word from today's sponsor.
Well, if you're a regular listener to the show, you know we talk a lot about Kentucky Performance Products, and that's because they are a name you can trust to give you the most value for your supplement money. Kentucky Performance Products offers supplements designed to target specific problems and are made with high-quality ingredients included at effective levels. The company's supplements are intended to complement, not compete, with your dressage horse's current feeding program, guarding against oversupplementation, and each product is backed by sound research and the money-back satisfaction guarantee. And today we'd like to talk to you about Nalox, the original equine antacid. It's recommended by veterinarians and leading horsemen as a way of maintaining a healthy stomach, which reduces the risk of ulcers. Nalox can be given daily to horses exposed to stressful conditions or as needed when shipping, competing, or during stall confinement. You know, you can learn about Nalox and all the products at Kentucky Performance Products at kppusa.com. That's Kentucky Performance Products at kppusa.com.
Now, enjoy today's tip. And welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. Randi Thompson, one of our favorite advice givers. Sounds like you have some really fun and interesting stuff for us today. What is your tip of the day? Tip du jour.
My tip du jour of today is, so many of us, no matter what we're going through, especially in times of turmoil and confusion, we forget the basics of our success, both personally and professionally. And so I would like to focus on what are some of the things that we can focus on, the secrets to our success. The first of those is believing in ourselves. We have to believe in who we are. And this really is the foundation for any success that we're having, even when we're going through times of turmoil or, problem areas. We have to be able to believe that our dreams are possible no matter what's happening and be able to follow that passion. And I know that you and I have been around long enough to have gone through the school of hard knocks and have been knocked down by the unexpected, right?
Yes. Today's one of those days. Thank you.
Yeah, but you still feel like inside, you still feel that little spark inside of yourself. And that's what I would like to focus on, Jennifer, right now.
Now, is it the internal spark that comes from within, or is it the internal spark that comes from Jack Daniels? Which spark are we talking about?
Whichever one works.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on to that, and let's continue the journey.
And let's continue. And for you and I, it's really an internal spark more than an external, because that's who we are. As a young girl, I dreamed of being a part of a world that I could never have imagined. Nobody in the area I was in made money with horses other than horse traders. So I could not imagine the possibilities of where things could go. But I had this driving passion that was so beyond anything that I could even explain. That passion was so strong, and it was not easy for me to believe in myself. I was a little bit dysfunctional. Well, wait, I was a lot dysfunctional.
Well, that makes you a horse girl.
Yes, it was. But believing myself was not a possibility at that time. When I made the choice to be in the horse world, I made the decision that I could do this. And the only way I could do it was to learn to communicate with people. I had to believe that I could do that. And in the process, it led to years of self-discovery to be able to find that spark that's inside, to be able to create the reality that you and I have both created for ourselves. And in the process, I learned how to believe in myself. And another analogy we can use there is what you and Glenn have done with the Horse Radio Network. Glenn came up with the idea first, I believe, and he believed it was possible. When nobody else was doing what you've done, you have created an amazing, amazing thing. At first you may have felt unsure, and on days like this, you're probably still not sure.
Yeah, days like today, I'm going, really? What are we fooling ourselves? Yes, that's gone through my mind a few times today.
You are not fooling yourself. There are people in the future who are waiting for you to come into it.
Just like Star Trek.
They're just like Star Trek, and you can feel it pulling into you. You can feel it drawing you towards it. And that's what keeps inspiring us to become confident and to begin to believe in ourselves every time we have to reinvent ourselves or to take ourselves out of those slumps that happen in our lives. And we know it takes time, but we've done it before. And now other people can understand that we expect it to happen, but the difference is that now we find ways to get through it and go on beyond it. Now, the next point I'd like to talk about is, we're talking about secrets to success. Well, one thing we've learned with horses is just get it done, even if it isn't perfect. Many of us are perfectionists. We demand and expect so much from ourselves. We don't give ourselves enough praise. We don't give ourselves enough, chances to really be able to break through these things because we just push ourselves so hard. We're so lucky to be in the horse world, as our horses teach us that perfectionism does not work. Nothing is ever perfect. And once we realize this, we are able to get more done without making it perfect. Sometimes crap happens in the process. And what we do is we realize we may not be able to get this done the way we want at this time. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we will continue until we get whatever we can to get done. When I first started teaching, this was a big breakthrough for me, teaching horsemanship and other people. I realized that other people did not feel or want to go into the depths that I wanted to take them into. I would give them so much theory and ideas that they went into total information overload.
I can just see the steam and smoke coming out their ears, yes.
That's right. I have a feeling you do the same thing.
Yeah, I do.
Now we can both see that we are perfectionists, like a lot of the people that we know. But we've also learned that we can take a simple idea and break it down to such a level that it still makes our inner perfectionist happy. At the same time, we find that people like everything broken down to those basics. They seem so basic to us, but to them, they're like big, monumental, life-changing experiences. Since I've made more than a few mistakes in my life, with my inner perfectionist screaming all the way along, I now realize that everything changes, regardless of what I may think or believe. I've gotten comfortable completing projects much sooner now. I expect things to happen. Here we are dealing with this last week, Facebook having issues. We just expect it to happen and we roll with the flow. We do not need to be perfect. We only need to work for whatever purpose that we can do at that moment in time. For example, when I first started writing, I would rewrite an article 50 times to get it perfect. No more. Now I'll stop after, 10 times.
I was going to say, you stop at 25 now.
I know. Yeah. Well, now it's more like 10 because I realize it's good enough the way it is. And what it does is it opens the door for me to create another 50 articles.
Yeah, you have to be careful not to become your own worst critic.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's easy for people like us to do that.
Yeah. And then you find yourself eventually, especially when it comes to actually getting on a horse, you find yourself talking yourself out of it because there are so many important things that have to be perfect before you get on the horse.
I don't have that issue anymore.
See, I've grown out of it too. I spent a couple of years with no horse at all to ride.
Yes.
And when I finally got the opportunity to have a horse again, I said, dag on it, I'm never doing that again.
Yes. You know what it took for me, and it was probably the same for you, was realizing that we didn't, our inner perfectionist again, work, make it perfect. But what we forgot was the fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think what we've learned is, and you have too now, is now when you ride, do you have more fun?
Oh, gosh, yes.
And that's really hard for people like us with our inner perfectionists. The next point I'd like to talk about, and we're talking again about secrets to success, is no matter what's happening, unless, it's a big life-changing thing, stick to your vision and tune out those who say it cannot be done. Through my life, people have always told me, you can't do that. That's not possible. My parents believed that women should be secretaries and raise families. I was a big disappointment. They were very confused.
They were way off the mark on that one, weren't they?
Yes. Well, they didn't know what to do with me.
Sure.
And I didn't know what to do with me because there weren't other people like me that I knew. I mean, there were, but I didn't know it at that time. Didn't know them, but I had this spark inside of me, this pull that was just pulling me towards the future, and it was very confusing. But thank goodness I tuned them out, and the other people that told me it couldn't be done. Many times I have stepped out of the box of normal as a result, and have achieved great success even when those around me said it could not be done. I proved that anything is possible for me if I believed in myself and in my dreams. I realize now that people are inspired by my ability to slip into new roles or ways of doing old things in new ways. I think the issue that many people have is that they live their life according to what other people think they should do. I am sure I've been there and done that. You probably have too. I think the biggest aha moment for me about this was when I realized that when the time came for me to die, that nobody else could die for me.
Ooh.
So why do I care what they think about my visions or dreams?
Ooh. That's a goodie. That's very deep. Oh my goodness, that's going to give me a headache. It's so deep.
It's, it's nice to be able to refocus ourselves when you think about that. It's huge. People are so concerned about what people are thinking about them and what they're seeing and stuff that they forget the reality is when it comes to that time, it's up to us. Which brings us to another point, the last point I'd like to talk about, and that is the secret to our success is really all about creating relationships. This was very hard for me. Most of my younger years, I was very isolated in my self-imposed box of what I thought was normal. I shut myself in. I was dysfunctional. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to talk. I didn't really know how to do anything. And for a while, I was not sure I was even human. Now I realize that most people do go through this stage. We feel so alien and wonder why anybody would want to know us, like us, or be a part of our lives. When I finally realized I had to learn how to communicate to people and that I might be human after all, I also started focusing on how I could create relationships in my business. Again, this was very hard for me. Creating a relationship with an animal was easy. At that time, I really did not trust or like people. It took me many years to realize how important this really was for both my personal and business success. As I became more successful, I was surprised to hear people say that I was stuck up or stuffy. And by then I was thinking I was pretty friendly. I was really working hard at it.
You're going, but I got it now. I got it.
I'm working so hard at this. But, I'd go to a horse show with students that were doing well. And, I realized that most of the time I was walking around with my arms crossed. So I was unconsciously creating barriers where I was pushing people away without even thinking about it. So, I was really shy and working at it, but I didn't know how to reach out and connect. I had created that invisible barrier around myself and did not know it. And I think this happens to a lot of people. The big shift for me was when I was involved in the international show scene. And I was shocked to see how many of the best trainers in the world were all comfortable sending their students to other trainers who specialized in the specific training issues they were working with. For example, if they were jumpers and they had problems with water jumps, they would send it to the best water jump, trainer they could. If they had a student that was having issues with, for example, their leg position, they'd send it to the trainer who specialized in that. They would send their students off with the trainers to other shows. And it shocked me. I had never seen this before. It changed my life. I realized that everything I had thought before worked where I was before at some level, but my eyes opened up to the reality that there's a whole big world out there of people who have learned to communicate and share what they have together. Together, they've made a difference. So instead of staying in my comfort zone, the old comfort zone that I had, of staying in my little box with my arm crossed, I started reaching out and connecting with people who would have intimidated me before. The more real and friendly I was to them, the more I became a part of that group. Social media is such a gift for so many of us. Social media is all about relationships and getting people to connect with us. Those who are a part of it often find that their business improves as they learn the secrets to creating relationships. I think, Jennifer, while we were growing up, this was not something that we were really focused on.
No, especially horse folks. Horse folks don't focus on relationships with other humans. They focus on relationships with horses. But if you're trying to earn your living that way, you kind of have to focus on the relationships with people.
Once we learn how to.
Right.
But how many people do we know who get into their little isolated box at their farm? They cross their arms like I used to do, protecting themselves, thinking that they have all the secrets in the world that nobody else has, when in reality, all those secrets are already everywhere on the internet. And the difference is, well, they are now. And the difference is that to create our success, we have learned that it's all about creating relationships.
There you go.
Creating those are the secrets to success that I wanted to share with you today, Jennifer.
Very useful. Philosophical, but still very useful.
Good.
Yeah, I'm going to stop crossing my arms. I'm going to work on that because I'm an arm crosser.
Oh, now you know.
See, I never, but it's just something I do. But you're right. When you see someone, their body language even subconsciously speaks to the people around them and that see them, and I'm going to work on that. That's going to give me something really handy to work on right away.
Good.
Well, thank you for stopping by this afternoon, Randy, and I appreciate your tip. And we're going to get together again soon with more Randy tips. So thanks a lot. Well, there you go. Now the secrets are not so secret anymore. To listen to all of Randy's tips, just go to horsetipdaily.com and go to the experts drop-down menu on the left. You can also go to Randy's website, horseandriderawareness.com. Don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they make these podcasts possible. Today's tip has been brought to you by Nalox. Ask for Nalox by Kentucky Performance Products at your local feed and supply store or visit them online at kppusa.com. Please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like us to cover on the show. You can subscribe to all of the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.